Hello and welcome to the Manifestation Coach podcast. I am your host, Kerry Williams, and it is wonderful to be here with you today. So, on this episode of the podcast, I just really wanted to kickstart all of this podcast and help you to understand what you can expect to find here so that you can figure out, is this a podcast that's for me or is it not? So, I want to ask you this question. If you're a coach, if you're a healer, how would it feel for you to have a consistent 3K, 5K a month extra in your business? And how would it feel for you if you had someone or something that was helping you to co-create and was supporting you through the process of building your business to that level? How would that feel for you? If that feels good, if you said, yes, that is something that I'm looking for, then you're in the right place. Essentially, on this podcast, what I'm going to be doing is sharing all the ways that I help clients, and I've used manifestation processes to help myself in my business to allow the law of attraction and manifestation to be something that I plug into my business strategy to really supercharge it so that I can easily get to the point where I've made businesses before that have had consistent 3K months, that can have consistent 5K months, had consistent 10K months. I'm teaching you in this podcast all of the different practical strategies, all of the different energetic techniques, and all of the different coaching and mindset issues that might come up for you on this journey to building your business. So, who am I and why would you listen to me? So, my name is Kerry Williams and I am multi-passionate. I've had a series of businesses in the past and they have all been wonderful experiences. And as many people who are business owners, I've evolved over time. So, I have had 4 different businesses in 4 different niches. I have used manifestation processes in each and every one of those. And in fact, being in business and being self-employed has been the way that I have honed my manifestation processes. So I have also used manifestation and law of attraction for creating other income streams through property investment. I have also used manifestation in getting consulting work as well through corporate. And I have also used it to manifest my fiance, to have our baby girl, and to really change my life radically. But it was really through business that I honed and used manifestation, and it trickled out and just changed and up-leveled my entire life. And so that's what I really want to share with you, because the law of attraction and manifestation, it seriously changed my business and it changed my life. And I know that this is available for everyone. If you are in a situation a little bit like me, where you feel overwhelmed a lot, where you feel like you're running low on energy, but you feel like you've got to do it all yourself. There's so much to learn. There's so much to do. It feels like sometimes there's very little return. You know, like you're putting in all this time into marketing. You're putting in all this time into trying to create your business, learning new things, finding the right business coach, doing another online course. And it doesn't feel like there's a lot of return on that. I want you to know that the universe and the law of attraction is your partner in this, and you can co-create the business and the life of your dreams with the universe alongside you. So it doesn't have to be done all by you alone. So if you're spiritual, if you're, in a business, especially if you're a coach or a healer, and if you would like to look at creating an additional 5K a month. That's where a lot of my clients are at the moment. Although, you know what, you can substitute that for any number, but most of my clients, they're looking to get a consistent 5K a month. They talk about how life-changing it would be to have that additional 5K a month. And I tell you what, it is life-changing, because when you are not going from feast to famine all the time, and when you have that consistency coming through your business, it just allows you to get out of that survival mode, to get out of that worrying about how you're going to pay the next bill, how you're going to get the money for this or for that. It just allows you so much freedom to really focus in on your business, to not have to think, maybe I have to go back and get a job. Maybe I have to go and do something a little bit different alongside this. Although if you're multi-passionate like me and that feels aligned, I encourage you to do, however many income streams it feels right for you right now. However, the law of attraction and manifestation processes are there to help you and support you. So, how have I used manifestation in my business journey? I came across manifestation first and foremost when I started in the business world and I started to become self employed. And that was after training as a homeopath. And I was so naive. I did not know that in the UK, homeopaths aren't generally employed. I mean, there's a few places that you can work as a homeopath and be employed, but generally speaking, it doesn't happen like that. And especially if you want to do consultations with people and you want to really hone your practice and your art as a homeopath, that's not really what people employ you for. So you might be on the shop floor giving remedy advice, for instance, but you don't really get that experience of being a homeopath. And that's what I wanted. So I didn't realize I had to run a business to do that. So I reluctantly went into business. And that was in about 2009, I think it was. And what I also didn't realize about running a business at that time was that all of my limiting beliefs around money, and boy, did I have a lot, they all come up to bite you in the ass. I really, really did. And so where I was freaking out about marketing, where I felt like I had complete imposter syndrome, where I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing, I had to suddenly write an about page that supposedly sold me. And I didn't want to say certain things and make certain claims because I thought, oh, I'm just going to sound like I know it all. I'm going to sound like I'm big-headed. All of that stuff came up. All of the stuff around how much will people pay me, that all came up because my experience up until that point, having a job, just over broke, that those jobs that I had in the past, they really were leaving me just over broke. I only just had enough money for my homeopathy training and I still went into debt through that. So when it came to pricing my services, I was undercharging. When it came to asking for money, I was really bad at that. I let people go for ages without paying me, and I felt bad about following up. People haggling and wanting to get discounts. All of that stuff came up. So my money mindset, all of the beliefs, all of the ways I had been taught about money from my childhood, they were all imported directly into my business experience. And they really affected how I was showing up in business, how I was asking for money, how I was managing money. And I got to the point where it was not going well financially. So one of my tutors actually really helped me with manifestation at that point. I wasn't working so much on money mindset at that point because I didn't really understand that piece at that stage, although I was really struggling. And she taught me my first manifestation technique in business, which was, I think she got it from a Stuart Wilde book. So she said, basically, get yourself a little card, which, by the way, if you want to do this is a really lovely little technique. So maybe you can take notes and use this as homework. So get yourself a little card, write on there your dream, what it is that you want to bring into reality. And I want you to get it out every single morning and I want you to read it. And I want you to visualize it as you read it and really put yourself in that space and imagine what it's like. So I did that religiously. And I tell you what, new clients started coming through despite all my money mindset, all my drama around money. I still had people coming through. I still had people paying me. And then over time, as I was working with people, then I realized, oh, I'm finding it really hard to ask for money. Oh, I'm finding it really hard to follow up with people. I'm finding it really hard to say no to people who are clearly not the right people for me to work with. All of these things, managing my business finances, all the bookkeeping, I was like, oh my God, it was really a lot for me to take on. So over time, the manifestation piece helped me to grow my business. And then I started learning more about money mindset, money psychology, and how all of your childhood influences actually really colored how you show up as an adult in the financial world. And when you start going into business for yourself and you've got to start, you're responsible for your income. You're responsible for your cash flow. You're responsible for your pension contributions. You're responsible for your salary payments, for your tax payments. I was like, oh my God, I was completely freaking out. So then I started to really understand the money mindset piece. And what I realized was that actually growing up in a household where, we weren't really, really poor, but we always had what we needed, but it felt like it was hard to come by. Both of my parents worked. My mum took on additional work, ad hoc work. So I saw my parents working very, very hard for very little money. It was always hard to make ends meet. Our clothes were from secondhand shops. Food, always food on the table. But sometimes it was pancakes. Sometimes just really cheap stuff. Keeping us fed basically in the best way that they could. And my parents did a fantastic job in the best way that they could with the circumstances that they had. However, I came out of my childhood with loads and loads of limiting beliefs around money, like that money is hard to come by, that money is scarce, that we have to work really, really hard for money, that people in my family, we don't earn a lot. We're not wealthy. Wealthy people take money from other people. Rich people are bastards, all of this kind of stuff that really came up. So I was colored with a lot of beliefs. And so when it came to me earning my own money, needing to ask for money at a level that would allow me to live in one of the most expensive cities in the world, London, and to be able to do that from my kind of influence and my own, kind of work. I had to generate my own income. Wow, that was actually quite a journey. So I started pairing money mindset with manifestation processes, and that is where things really started to take off. I started releasing those old limiting beliefs. I started reprogramming my mind. I started actually getting into kinesiology to start, working with the energy system, start working with mindset, and to start, releasing stuck energy from the energy field. So that was where I started doing my second business, which was kinesiology, becoming a kinesiology practitioner. I needed to do training. I didn't have the money for that. I needed to get a new place to work from. I didn't have the money for that, because as a kinesiologist, you need certain kit. You need to see people in a certain environment if you're seeing people face to face. And so that required me to rent a room and to have the space in the room for the kit and all of that kind of stuff. So it was going to mean that I had to up level to a new level. It also meant longer consultations, and it meant more detailed consultations. So more of my time, which really meant it needed to be at a higher price point. Oh, more money drama coming up. So I really had to start up-leveling my money mindset. And I also started up-leveling my manifestation processes. And I made a really, really effective vision board at this time. And I've still got this vision board. I actually use it in my group program, which is the School of Manifestation. There's a module that talks about how to create a really effective vision board, and I show it in there. And on this vision board, I had pictures of a kinesiologist doing her work. I had pictures of all the paraphernalia that comes with kinesiology, all the test kits. I had a screenshot of my calendar being fully booked. I blocked that out on Google Calendar, and I did a screenshot and I put that on there. I also thought about other things that would change in my life. Like I wanted to be able to have the ability to go to a really nice yoga studio down the road that at that time felt like a very big financial leap for me. I didn't have the money to sign up at that level. So I put pictures of yoga on there. I put pictures of flying to and from New Zealand and Australia because I missed my family, and that's where my family are. And I wasn't able to go there enough, I felt. So I wanted to be there more. So I put all of these things on a vision board, and guess what? It all happened. It all happened. So I've seen how these manifestation processes can work. And I've seen how pairing that with working on your money mindset, upgrading your money mindset, becoming the person that does have consistent extra 5K months coming in, that does actually operate at this level, having the clients coming through, having a group program, having a digital course, whatever it is, however you want to work, operating as that person, it all comes into place over time. And so this is what I want for you. This is what I want to teach you and share with you, that it is all absolutely possible. I'll share one more story with you around thoughts creating things, because one of the things that I manifested over time was something else outside of the work in my business that I wanted to do, was to do some property investment. I wanted to be able to set myself up financially for the future. So I had no one in my world that did property. I had no one in my world that did property investment, that taught property investment. I just didn't know anyone doing it. So where do I find that? So I started looking around, and I didn't really find what I was looking for. It felt too expensive to dip your toes in the water in London. It's one of the most expensive cities in the world. So I didn't really see at that time how I could do it. And then I met one of my mentors in an event. She just stood up and she started talking about her work, and I was like, that is the woman for me. She taught about property investment. She taught about money mindset. And I was like, that is exactly who I need to be working with. So I joined her group. We started doing work on our business as well that would fund our property investment. So it was a really great setup, which, by the way, she's going to come and talk on this podcast at some point. Her name is Alex Louise. So when she comes on, if you're interested in property investment and business, she is someone to look out for. So anyway, we joined this group, and I remember she was doing a coaching session on, what we would like to do in our business. And I'd gone from kinesiology and, really got fascinated about the mindset piece and how you could reprogram the brain, rewire the brain, along with all the energetic work as well. So I trained as a coach. I was wanting to do more coaching work. And at that time, my niche was very health related, and I wanted to work around weight loss because that was something that I had a lot of experience with personally as well. And I was saying to her, do you know what? I would love to create something that's a bit of a challenger to Weight Watchers, because there are women out there that pay every month. And I believe that there are women out there that need the knowledge that I have, that we have as a naturopathic community around nutrition when it comes to weight loss, but also the mindset piece to really help them with emotional eating. That was years before. When I was going through my coach training, I then ended up meeting someone who also shared a very similar dream, and we set up a business together where we created a membership. And you can still go and see this podcast if you want to, because I believe, well, it depends on when you're actually listening to this, but the Weight Loss for Life podcast with myself and my colleague Matea on there, we created a podcast and we had a membership called the School of Sustainable Weight Loss, and we had mindset coaching in there, and we had lots of habit change teaching in there. We had weekly coaching calls, and we had teaching around nutrition and what to eat. And it became exactly what I had said years and years ago. It only struck me actually after we'd set that up, and after it was quite a mature product and it was running for quite a while. And I was like, then I suddenly remembered being in Alex Louise's group and saying I wanted to create something a little bit like Weight Watchers, but for women who are interested in the mindset, interested in emotional eating, and interested in that naturopathic style of nutrition. And it happened. And maybe I would have created it by myself, but the universe brought Matea into my life, and she shared a similar vision, and we were able to co-create that together. So this is what's available to you. Whether you want to create something that's a little bit bigger than what you're doing right now. Maybe you're already doing the work that you love and you feel that it's aligned. You're working with the right people and you're working with them in the way that you want to work with them, and you just want to do more of it and you want to make it easier. That is 100% possible with everything I'm going to be talking to you on this podcast about. But if you're also in a place where you're like, you know what, in my wildest dreams, I would be loving to do something completely different. I would be wanting to work with, completely different set of people in a different niche and a different specialization. That is also possible as well. I have used manifestation for both of those scenarios, and it all works. Manifestation, seriously, it is your best friend. The law of attraction, the universe is your best friend when it comes to business, because it doesn't replace the knowledge, learning about business, learning about, the finances and marketing and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't replace any of that, but it just makes life so much easier. If you're getting worn out, overwhelmed, if you're feeling fatigued, if you're finding that it's a bit of a daily battle to turn up and actually do the things that you're supposed to do, this is where you can actually start outsourcing to the universe. Start asking for the inspiration to come to you. Start asking for the right people to come to you at the right budget as well, in order to take some stuff off your plate, in order to give you the knowledge that you need in this moment of time. Perhaps you might even think, as you listen to this podcast, maybe there are some episodes episodes on here that I talk about that are exactly what you have been wanting to hear. Maybe you have also manifested finding this podcast and finding this episode and discovering answers to things that you wanted to. Maybe the universe is already a big feature in what you're doing. My aim for you in this podcast is really to have a space for you. This is a container where you can dream your biggest dreams, and I will hold that space for you. This is a place where nothing is impossible. In fact, all we need to do is to work out how. How could it be possible? What do we need to outsource to the universe? What do you know for sure right now? What is the next step for you on this journey so that you can become an energetic, vibrational match for the very thing that it is that you want to manifest into your life, into your business, to up level to that next place that you're going to. So I've learned that this process, it's an evolution. You will change, you will grow, your business will grow. But do you know what? Those core principles, the core manifestation process, it's the same each and every time. You apply it to different situations, and you'll find that you have different outcomes because you're obviously manifesting different things, but it's the same process. So it's a rinse and repeat process. So that is what I'm sharing with you here on this podcast. And I really hope that you find it inspiring. That is my intention for you, is that you find a place where you dare to dream big and you dare to believe that it's possible, and you find the right support and the right teachings for you at this point in time so that you can move into the next stage of your business. Okay, so how are we going to be doing all of this? What can you expect? I'm going to be talking all about marrying up the practical and the energetic side of things. That is really my specialization. I don't just teach the spiritual, I also teach the practical. So I'm going to be teaching and bringing both of those together for you. We're going to be doing a lot of deep mindset coaching. We're going to be talking about reprogramming and rewiring your brain, all around money, all around your value, all around your work in the world, so that you can manifest the business of your dreams, and that will trickle out to change things in your life and for your family's lives as well. We're going to be doing energetic clearing around your unconscious blocks as well, because it's wonderful to have these big dreams, but sometimes we have these limiting beliefs. Sometimes we have habits and behaviors that stop us from getting to the place that we want to get to. So energetic clearing can also help with that. And one of my favorite techniques is EFT tapping. So if you enjoy EFT tapping, stick around because it's one of my favorites, and I'm going to talk about that a lot. We're also going to be talking about practical manifestation techniques, things that you can do on a daily basis, things that you can integrate that will help you to really fine-tune your manifesting processes and find out what works for you, because it's not a one size fits all. If you do a Google search, or if you look on TikTok or any other social media channel, you'll see there's so many different processes out there with funky names and shortcut names like the 369 and all this. They are wonderful. And they work. They all work. I'm not going to bag any of them. You just need to find what works for you. I've found what works for me. I'm going to share what works for me. I would love for you to cherry pick all of that, try it on for size, see how it works for you, keep what you enjoy, keep what works, and discard the rest. And, just like me, I've evolved over time to find out what works for me. And I hope that you will find the ability to do the same thing for you so that you can really supercharge your manifestation, create that extra 5K in your business, go to the next level in your business, and have that change your life for yourself and your family. So that is what we're all about here on the Manifestation Coach podcast. It's wonderful to have you on board. If you like the sound of this, stick around. We're going to have lots more episodes coming up about all of the things that we've been talking about in this introductory session. And I would also love to hear from you as well. If you get value from any of the episodes, go to your podcast app and give us a review. Give us an honest review. I would love to hear from you. What are your takeaways? What are your light bulb moments? And actually, what would you love to hear more of? I want this to be like a bit of a two-way conversation so that, I can get to know you over time and start to design this podcast around what exactly it is that you need in order to make this work for you. Okay, so have a look at the show notes as well if you want to see, any other links on social media. There's a community as well on Facebook, so you can find all the links in the show notes below, and I hope to connect with you over there as well. All right, until the next episode, happy manifesting. Have a wonderful day. Bye.